Yeah. If Michael is Scott Cawthon, did he write the books? Michael, more or less, he didn't really write all of it. He kind of approved a lot of it. I think the trilogy Michael...
Oh, okay, that's what you meant.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
The trilogy, he had ghost written with the same writer that actually writes the trilogy. He kind of just skims through it, and he gives it a thumbs up. He's like, yeah, sure, go ahead, put that out there. And then it gets put out there. He's Scott if Scott didn't care that much. Michael was probably busy doing other shit.
Yeah, he was doing a lot. Michael was really active the entire time he was living with Henry, because he was so bored in that attic. He ended up like giving himself like 1,000 things to do online, which means he has a lot of fake identities, and Scott Cawthon is just one of them. The one he holds dearest to his heart, but he also has some other fake identities. Yeah.
Consequences. Michael dies in 2018 when FNAF 6 happens.
Oh, so, yeah.
The FNAF movie didn't really happen.
I know there's a lot of controversy with that, but Consequences does take on the timeline where FNAF 3 happens in 2015. I know that's very controversial, and a lot of people believe that FNAF 3 happens in 2023? Yeah, 2023. I know, and we also agreed that that was the timeline when we started Consequences, so originally it did take place, Consequences originally took place in 2042, but after reviewing some theories and really thinking about the timeline, we decided to change it, and Consequences now takes place in 2025. So
unfortunately, it's not theories, and it is completely canon that FNAF 3 was in 2015, which I think is disgusting.
Yeah.
I hate that. But it's whatever.
I'm coming round to it. I'm liking it. I'm slowly getting into it.
It means Derek can be cringe.
Yeah, it means Derek is a scene kid, and I'm really happy about that.
Michael's Lemon Demon, yeah, that too.
That too. Okay, if you enjoy something and it's like a internet thing, just assume Michael worked on it. I don't like how I phrased this one, but I can't back out now. Is Cassidy actually fatherless?
Yes, she is.
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
And this is very lore relevant. I know... Okay. In all honesty, William calling Cassidy fatherless halfway through the comic, that was very out of place.
I feel like you should probably...
What?
If you ever get enough time, you should probably redo that segment. Because that whole bit was really out of, like, character for everybody.
William...
Even for, like,
yeah.
Cassidy.
Yeah.
Well, you act like fatherless. He wouldn't say that. He would call her a low IQ
He's fatherless. He's fatherless. Yeah. Cassidy having no father, that is canon, and it's actually... It's not just a joke. It's like... This has lore relevance. It has a lot to do with Cassidy, a lot to do with her mother, a lot to do with, I'm just gonna name drop him, honestly. Andrew. Andrew is in Consequences.
Andrew.
And Cassidy's home life has a lot to do with Andrew. I'm not gonna explain how.
Look at Toast in the chat. After hearing Andrew.
Andrew is canon.
You can thank me for that, guys. I was rooting for the addition of Andrew for a long time.
Yeah, Azalea,
and he is awesome.
She bullied me for like a month straight. What's Zor's favorite distraction for William? Okay, well, I think it's quite obvious. It's the mini arenas. I think she really likes Shadow Bonnie.
Maybe a little bit.
And a little bit. Not because of what they do, she just likes them. She likes Shadow Bonnie. That's her friend. She's very young.
Quite young.
She is very young. She is like I'm not gonna say how old she is, but think Evan type young. So in terms of the summoning of the mini-Renas, she doesn't truly understand quite how graphic or disgusting the whole mini-Rena thing is, where they crawl into William and kill him from the inside. She doesn't really think about that, or the killing in general.
Who put the sandwich there? Sure. Or maybe it was a giant Zora and Cassidy prank. They were like, yeah, let's mess them up.
That's cute, actually, yeah, both of them did it. They were like, do you know what would be really funny? Also, something worth noting, the sandwich incident didn't happen during 50/20, it happened during a different challenge where things were a lot more, tame, where William would have had time to actually look around the office and just find a sandwich and eat it.
I'm sure it was in good spirit.
Good spirit.
I don't think they predicted the outcome.
Oh yeah, Zor and Dee are the same person.
Oh yeah.
This is mentioned in one of the pages where William's explaining how Zor works. In the flashback section, you can see a colored Zor. You can see where Zor has color, where she's pink and orange, and she's like Dee. So Zor and Dee are the same person.
I really like that segment.
I was really proud of it.
I like how William look. I like how he looks in that segment.
Yeah, I was really happy with how
like a guy.
My art just got really good for that segment for some reason. Both William and Zor looked really good for that entire flashback. I really don't know why, because then it went back to being shit. But
yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how big of a piece of shit is William?
I know what this is.
No, okay, so the real question that this person asked was...
Are we doing it by character, or are we like...
Well, the actual question asked, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do each of the individual characters think of William as a piece of shit? So I guess we do have to go by character. Let's start with Henry, shall we? Let's start with Henry.
Can we not just do the average? Henry, I'm gonna say, is about 7.
Oh, I'd say like a 12 out of 10.
He doesn't he said it himself. He doesn't completely hate William. He doesn't know how to feel about William. He's going to tolerate him. But at the current moment, with William's attitude, he's going like a strong 7-8.
Cassidy thinks William is a massive piece of shit at the moment.
5.
A 5? Yeah, less than Henry, surprisingly.
Right now, yeah. 5 on average.
5 on average, but like an 11 out of 10 currently.
On a good day.
On a good day, it's a 5. Evan, like 0.
Evan doesn't know any numbers.
Evan doesn't know what an asshole is, so there you have it. Michael?
Yeah, like, God, 15.
15 at least. Elizabeth?
Numbers humans haven't discovered yet. 0, that's a dad.
Elizabeth, I think maybe a 2. I think she's aware of how annoying William is.
He's a little bit.
She finds it really funny.
Not because of what happened. Not because of the family drama or what happened. Just because he's kind of annoying sometimes.
He is annoying.
No, maybe a 3, 4.
I'd say like a 4. Because she's old enough to perceive just how much of an asshole William is. But again, like Elizabeth, she finds it a bit funny. It's just kind of funny.
He's funny. He's funny while doing it, so it's okay. Girl boss, true.
Charlie is a girl boss. Animatronic.
For Derek, it's 0 because.
Oh yeah. For Derek, it's 0. Can't say why.
It's 0 because Derek's a William fanboy.
He's okay, yeah. Derek's a fanboy, but
William's super cool.
That's to be expected because he is Phone Dude, and Phone Dude is just really into horror shit and stuff like that. So it's to be expected from Derek.
He's into FNAF.
He's into FNAF. He's a FNAF fan. Of course, he likes William Afton. Question 38: How was Michael's life after getting scooped?
Boring, long, tedious, probably moist and hot and sweaty, in the bad way.
Yeah, I like how you had to add in the bad way, just to really...
In the bad way, guys. In the bad way.
I think it was like his own personal hell. He went through hell after getting scooped. But it was also kind of like being half asleep. I think most of his movements were entirely fatigued. He couldn't really think straight. I mean, his brain was like, he was brain dead, like half of his brain was gone, even though he was completely conscious. It was like being under anesthesia, but you can see what's happening to your body. You can, it's like if you couldn't feel the pain of it, but you can watch yourself slowly turn purple and lose all your ability to just be a normal functioning human. It's like slowly becoming disabled, but to like a really horrible extent. Yeah. Does Charlie get along with the dead children? Yes, she had to look after them. She basically babysat them, so yeah, she does. There was one she didn't get along with, and that was Andrew, but not because of anything, not because, you know, they didn't get along, like they were rude to each other. They didn't get along because Andrew refused her help. She babysat the kids, she looked after them, she kept them all together, and she's the reason why most of them stayed together and were able to have their happiest day. But in Andrew's case, Andrew wasn't at the happiest day because he refused to be. And that's gonna come in later. What happens to Emily?
She isn't in this.
She doesn't exist. Sorry, guys. There's a lot of, you know, there were a lot of people asking where's the wives at, and they don't exist here. I know Emily was Henry's wife in the books, but there is no mention of her in the games. So, and she's also not even depicted at any point in any of the graphic novels either. So she's just not there.
Maybe she is. I know Sammy is, but I don't know about Emily.
No, Emily was never, as far as I remember. Sure. But yeah, she doesn't exist because Henry never had a wife because he's gay. Does Michael like guinea pigs?
Guys, this is just important.
This is just as important.
It's not more important. Evan liking ducks, so doesn't cover it. Okay. Are you all listening?
Yes. Yes, we're listening.
Michael really likes guinea pigs.
Oh my goodness gracious.
But.
Good grief. He likes guinea pigs.
But. I think he likes hamsters more. Yeah.
No. Is
That's the answer.
Is it because hamsters are almost as suicidal as he is?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Probably they hate themselves just as much. They never have peaceful deaths.
Oh my god.
Hamsters, they always go out fighting.
What the fuck is up with hamsters and just dying?
William the Rabbit Lord. He's already the Rabbit Lord. Hamsters never die of old age. Lonnie, my hamster died of old age.
No, he didn't.
He died of
The feds want you to think that.
The feds?
Yeah, the feds. Your hamsters had ops, I'm sorry. Okay, here's a question. How did Cassidy make UCN? She didn't. Michael did. But, okay, so more specifically, it was Michael who made the code for UCN. Obviously, he coded UCN because it's one of his games. He's Scott Cawthon. He created the game. Cassidy usurped it and took control of the code, and that's why she's sort of in control of the whole game now. Except she's also not, because, you know, William's the one pressing the button to play it. So, really they're just playing the game, and Cassidy's watching. So I hope that helps. 44, what did the kids do in their free time for 7 years? Quite a lot, to be honest. They're about to go over that in, the next few pages that will be released, after Christmas. We'll kind of go into that. There's quite a lot that they did. They just kind of hung out, really. It was just Michael, Charlie, Elizabeth, and Evan. So it was just the four of them kind of alone in FNAF world. I guess they just sort of lived life. It was very boring for them, obviously. There were no adults, it was just Michael, and spoiler alert, Michael's not really responsible at all as an adult. He is not in
He keeps throwing Evan in the air. He keeps throwing him.
He keeps throwing Evan. He keeps bullying, like, Charlie. He probably teases. Yeah, he teases Elizabeth all the time. It's like he's not the best person to be like, you know, looking after a bunch of children. So so you know, he also can't.
Charlie hit him. So well, you know, they hit each other all the time. They're gonna have a big fight later on.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of fighting between those two. If you want to see William get beat up, I'm very sorry, it won't happen. But if you want to see like Michael and Charlie have a crazy fist fight, then yeah, that's gonna happen. So, so I hope that satiates your need for violence, guys. Oh, this question has already been answered. Are Andrew and Jake in Consequences? Jake, no. But like I said before, Andrew is. Andrew is in Consequences, and he is very important. Something I need to mention. Andrew being in Consequences isn't a spoiler, because he's already been here.
Dun, dun, dun.
He's already in the comic, and you've all overlooked him. He is right in front of you. You're looking straight at him most of the time. I'm not gonna give any more. Wait.
I think Toast likes Andrew, guys.
Wait, before we continue, I need to find where it is, and I will give you all a few hints, because no one else,
Just one.
yeah,
Only
just
one
one measly little hint.
Oh, wait! Oh, I know what you're talking about. Nobody found that.
Nobody found this hint, so I'm just gonna sort of ease you guys
It was right there.
It was right
But it was-
there.
Oh my god, no one found it.
No one found it.
Oh my god. Dude. You're all idiots.
If you guys are curious, just saying, you should take another gander at Page 10's remake. The remake of Page 10 for Consequences. Why are Charlie's book friends present? Like, why are they in the comic? Okay, that's a nice one. I'm gonna be completely honest. Okay, the book is not canon to Consequences, but I enjoy the books quite a lot. Like, I enjoy the graphic novels, and I like that these guys exist. If you're paying attention, you'd notice that the trilogy people do appear. They're in the happiest day flashback. If you look behind Evan and the main five, or the main four even, I guess, you'll see the trilogy friends in the background, wearing the mediocre melodies masks. Now a lot of people are confused. Why does this happen? It's because they're in Consequences. If you know about your FNAF lore, you'll know that there were two batches of dead children. There was the MCI and the DCI. And in the DCI there were supposedly 6 children, I believe, that went missing. And the first batch was 5 children. It's a bunch of theory, lore stuff, but I happen to notice that there are also 6 friends in the trilogy, which I thought was perfect. I thought it was perfect to just slot them in because I like them. I think, you know, they deserve more recognition. They're silly, and I think it gives a lot more like potential for Charlie to have friends or to have interactions with, you know, people. They're a lot younger, obviously, in Consequences. You know, Charlie's 14, and you know, the trilogy friends are probably going to be like, what, 13, 12, 14. They're around her age, you know. But yeah, they're there, and their designs will probably change the next time they're in the comic. Because right now they were seen from afar, and I just decided to use the Pinky Pills designs, even though they're not really that they're not accurate at all to what the books were describing them as. So, how did Michael learn how to code? This is an important one. Henry taught him.
Henry was already a programmer, which is, you know, FNAF knowledge. He makes robots. He's an engineer. He and Michael had so much spare time. He kind of just, you know, every now and then he'd sit with Michael and he'd give him like little guides and tips and, you know, bits of advice on how to start learning a programming language. And Michael, because he was bored and he had his like computer and stuff, he just you know, took it from there, and he kept making stuff and he kept learning on his own, and he started making games.
Henry is more of an engineer than he is a programmer, so when Henry made video games, he was only able to make Atari 8-bit style minigames in arcade machines. But after teaching Michael the basics, Michael excelled like crazy and made indie games, you know, like Scott Cawthon did PC games. He managed to, he was a lot better at it than Henry was. Henry preferred the hands-on banging metal and making it shit. Whereas Michael was like, oh, do you know what? I'm going to take this program language and I'm going to make it a shit horror game for people to play, made out of my trauma. So that's how it happened. Oh, this one's nice. Someone noticed all the posters in Michael's bedroom in that one flashback, and they saw that Michael has a Miku poster, and they asked, what is Michael's favorite Vocaloid song?
Gonna be honest, guys. He's just a poser. He doesn't actually like Vocaloid.
Oh my god.
He's cute. It's true.
He's a fake fan. He's a fake
fan. He's a poser. He just thinks Miku looks cool.
He just likes Miku. He doesn't actually listen to Vocaloid. However, Derek does. And Derek likes Vocaloid.
Derek does.
So, I guess you could say Michael likes Miku to impress Derek, if you want to go that far.
Michael likes Miku because Derek likes Miku, and I think Derek likes Michael because Michael's in love with Derek.
Because Michael's a bit of a simp, so that's what's going on there.
They're literally boyfriends.
They're boyfriends, but he's a simp.
Oh, true. That too.
49. What was it like for Charlie to give life? Now, Charlie giving life is more like Charlie giving parts of her own remnant. Obviously, she didn't exactly do it the same way William did, but, yeah, her giving life was her giving remnant to the kids. I guess this question is asking what it must have felt like. I guess it's sort of, she's giving a part of herself away to help the kids, you know, put their masks on. The masks in Consequences resemble, obviously, possessing the animatronics, but they're also sort of, they're symbolic for the kids putting on these masks where they can feel protected, where they don't, like, they're putting on a persona, they're putting on a character, it gives them confidence and courage, and that's why Charlie did it. She realized these children are scared and afraid, and they're dead now, and she doesn't know how to explain that they're dead. The masks, the possession, that was Charlie's way of comforting them, sort of telling them, hey, I know you're a dead child, vulnerable child, that's great and all, you're just scared. Do you know what? That's okay, because here you go. You can be a big scary robot. Nothing will ever hurt you again.
Physically, I wonder.
Physically, I guess.
Like when you take that big sweaty dump, but it's coming out of your soul instead.
What the f*** are you on about? First off, she did not dump the remnant. She did not take a big. Anyway, yeah, for Charlie, it sort of felt like, I think when she was giving out remnant, it sort of felt a bit like she was lighter, like she was. No, not like you just said. She did not take a big fat sweaty dump. She just sort of, she became, I don't know, more faint. It's sort of like when you feel lightheaded, I guess. She just became more and more lightheaded the more life she was giving out. She wasn't giving big chunks of herself out. She just gave enough so that they could merge with the animatronics. So, okay, you know, that's the answer.
Yeah. What's the next question?
Question 50. Can Michael touch water, or will he just, like, fucking melt?
He touch water. He's gonna go swimming.
Oh,
he and Elizabeth
he
are
is?
gonna go swimming.
They're gonna go swimming, yeah. Originally,
they're gonna have a water fight.
Okay, originally the swimming scene was gonna be a lot more disgusting because...
Oh, it was gonna be genuinely just vile, and I don't even want to describe it or talk about it.
I'm not gonna describe it.
Disgusting.
But you know how earlier I mentioned that Michael doesn't attract bugs? He's not that rotten. He's not that dead. That wasn't always the case. In the original draft of Consequences, Michael he did have bugs. He did have a lot of
bugs.
Namely maggots. And he was gonna jump in the pool, and they were all just gonna. What's William's favorite animatronic?
Spring Bunny. It's his favorite. I think he's got a couple favorites. you know, Spring Bunny, he likes Fredbear, he likes Security Puppet, and Phantom Foxy.
How does Cassidy feel about torturing William? Again, this has to do with Andrew. She's indifferent to torturing William. She's doing it.
If you've seen the thing on page 10, that might clear it up a bit more for you.
Yeah, if you found the secret on page 10, that will really clear up what her opinion is on it. But the point here is she's doing it out of necessity. She's doing it because she's afraid in some way. More so than she is angry. She's tired, exhausted, and terrified. Downright terrified. More so than she is angry or upset. So that's what she feels. I can't go any further than that. 53. What does Michael think of... Oh, okay. What does Michael think of the bullies?
The bullies? I don't know how much I can disclose without it being too spoilery. But, he's not fond of them. He doesn't like them. He's not, you know... I feel like you could say the Nightmare animatronics are actually kind of linked to him.
Yes.
In a
Yes.
horrible, messed up way.
The Nightmare...
With, you know, two of them coming around him, and then Freddy being on his bed behind him. And then him having to be in the closet. He doesn't like the bullies. The lads... There's another secret on another page just about the groomers, or it references them, which might clear up a bit more of that too. Don't remember what page it's on there.
It's safe to say Michael's nightmares, his night terrors, his horrible, like, you know, flashbacks, they tend to be less about the dead children. They're less about William. They're less about him rotting and him being scooped, and they're more about the bullies. They're more about the Nightmare animatronics, who, you know, they aren't just Nightmare animatronics, nightmare versions of, you know, the characters, but to him, they mean a lot more about the bullies. That's who they represent in his eyes, and that's why he's absolutely downright horrified. Question 54. 55. Ooh, I like this one. What drawing programs do you use? I illustrate consequences, so I guess I use Fire Alpaca for consequences, and for general art pieces, I used to use Fire Alpaca for everything, but then I decided to branch out a bit because Azalea bullied me into using Krita. I hated Krita at first because I remember when I first started drawing digitally, I like on a PC, I used Krita and I didn't have pressure sensitivity at the time, and my art was really shit because of Krita. But then I came back to it, downloaded brushes because I didn't know you could do that, and I found it is way better. I can draw very goodly on... that's not a word. I can draw very well on Krita. So for the comic nowadays, I've because doing sketches, brush theory is real. Brush theory is a real thing, and I'm living proof of it, because whenever I do a sketch on Fire Alpaca, it looks like shit. But whenever I do a sketch on Krita, oh my goodness gracious, it's like pinnacle of art, honestly. It's...
I don't know if it matters, but I saw Toast mention Procreate. That's what I use.
Yeah, Azalea uses Procreate. What happened to William's wife?
Sorry, guys.
I'm so sorry.
If you've got brain cells,
But
if you have,
don't be rude about it. Jesus.
Even the slightest IQ, you'll know that he doesn't have a wife, and no wife was ever mentioned, ever referenced, brought up, even clued into, ever. Mrs. Afton as a concept doesn't exist.
Okay. Obviously headcanons are fine.
So there was going to be a Mrs. Afton, but we changed it because why would there be? There's no way William is getting married looking like that because he is ugly.
Okay, there's never been a Mrs. Afton explicitly canon. People thought there was because of Ballora, but, like, you know, they thought, oh, this is implications that there was a mother figure, but you don't need a mother to have a family, or a wife. And, you know, there was never any explicit say of the name Mrs. Afton or any name you could pin down to that. So, you know, it's really just a fandom thing, and that's great. And originally there was going to be a Mrs. Afton in Consequences, but she wouldn't have been present for the actual comic. She was more so going to be a background character for flashbacks and for character building. I'm actually kind of...
You don't need her for that.
I'm kind of glad we got rid of her, because if she would have been in the comic, she wouldn't have been portrayed as a good character, as a good person. She was you know, she was just a bit of a... Yeah. We're not gonna go into
let's move on.
Anyway, yeah, William's a bit fruity. And about his children. I guess some of you might be wondering, well, if there wasn't a wife, how did he make them? Surrogate. He surrogated his kids. He donated...
He got a surrogate to make Michael when he still lived in the UK.
He commissioned someone.
He commissioned his son in the UK, and then he commissioned Elizabeth and Evan in the US.
The term commission for this is great. Who does William regret killing the most?
Charlie, obviously.
The answer is Charlie. The reason why is because obviously he cared a lot about Charlie. He knew Charlie the most. She was practically like a second daughter for him for a while. He did it to get at Henry.
Goodbye.
Killing Charlie was also the biggest catalyst after Evan's death for snapping, for becoming, you know, the serial killer William Afton. So that's something that happened. But yeah, that's who he regrets killing the most. 58. What does Charlie think of William? If you've been reading the comic and are confused on why Charlie seems so indifferent about William being there, it's because Charlie, much like Henry, doesn't really know what she feels about him. She doesn't hate him. The reason why is because, unlike Cassidy, who still wants to see him suffer for everything he did, Charlie had her sort of revenge fulfilled when she saw him get spring-locked. She was there for that. She got to see it happen. And she saw him die, you know, and bleed out on the floor. So that was her sort of, like, thirst for vengeance justified and satisfied. So she has no reason anymore to hold some kind of crazy grudge. She forgives him for herself. There's a lot about forgiveness in Charlie later. And how forgiveness is less about the person you're forgiving and more about you. That comes later. Yeah, Charlie's indifferent. She's a bit scared of him at the moment. I guess that's the most negative it gets with her feelings towards him right now. How does the family feel about Evan's cerebral palsy?
It's just a thing that he has.
Yeah,
it's just something they should probably be mindful of.
Yeah, they look after him. They're mindful of him. They know that he needs support. It's become integrated in the family. Like it's like an everyday thing. They've become accessible for him. What does Charlie think of fake Charlie? Obviously, like I mentioned before, the books obviously aren't canon to Consequences. There's just a lot of references to them because I like them. So fake Charlie isn't a thing, but if we want to twist this question and say, what does Charlie think of the books and what does Charlie think of herself in the books, and, you know, the concept of fake Charlie, I think Charlie would like the trilogy. She'd read it and she'd be like, wow, you made me crazy cool. What does Evan think of Cassidy? He likes her, but he thinks that she is someone else. He does not realize Cassidy is not the person he's thinking of. There is someone else that he thinks she's his friend, but he's got the wrong person, basically. I don't know how to explain it. Was Elizabeth in control of Enid/Circus Baby? No.
She was very unconscious for this.
She was possessing Circus Baby, but she had no control over Circus Baby. One thing that is very canon to Consequences is the idea that AI overrides souls. Souls do not have more power than robots. It's the AI, it's the robots that have more power. But the souls can influence the AI to have different motivations. So while Elizabeth wasn't conscious for anything that Baby or Enna did, her sort of subconscious influenced it to do what it did. So the whole making William proud thing, making it like, being, there for her father, that was subconscious. She didn't make it do that, but it imprinted on the robots. So that's what happened with that. What do Henry and William think of each other? It's very, very complicated. If you're asking, they were. Once upon a time, they were in love. Not anymore, for very obvious reasons. Henry and William were...
well, see, we've said this about 5 different times now. Henry is indifferent to William. He is tolerating him, but he doesn't like him, per se. William's probably not the first guy he's going to go to have a conversation about anything. William is completely and utterly obsessed with Henry.
William is still madly in love with Henry. Like,
the anger of, being in UCN closed out, he's going to go back to his old self.
Yeah.
And no one's looking forward to that.
Obviously, right now, William's being a bit of a bitch to everyone. That's because he just got out of UCN. But in Chapter 1, we're going to see William resume to what he was like before. And that's going to entail a lot of bugging Henry, to be honest. It's sort of a weird hate-love thing going on for William. He's angry, but there's a lot of reasons why he's angry at William, or at Henry. And that'll be discussed. It'll be very, very sad, to be honest. Question 66, how did you get good at drawing? Years of pain and misery and doing it every day. Just like any other talent.
Every single day.
What is William's biggest regret? He won't tell you this if you ask him. But the answer, like, deep down inside, deep down, like, he like, subconsciously, like, he wouldn't even think of this as a biggest regret. His biggest regret would be not reaching out to Michael, when he had the chance. And by reaching out, I mean checking up on, like, seeing who Michael was hanging out with as a teenager. William saw a lot of changes happen to Michael as during his teenage years, where he became more distant, more aggressive, didn't talk to him, would come home very late and, like, would have some sort of scars or like bruises or just be hurt somehow and come home very late. And while William did obviously try and ask, what the why are you home so late and why are you, like, beaten up? But obviously, angsty teen would never answer the question, was very secretive. William didn't know what to do in that situation as a father, because this was the first time he had to, obviously, like, Michael being his eldest, he'd never looked after an angsty teen before who was going through this, and he tried to convince himself that it was normal, that it was puberty, that, nothing was happening, it was just, what it was like to be a teenager. And William wouldn't know, because when William was a teenager, he didn't have any friends. He didn't go out to, like, do crazy stuff, like parties and stuff. So he just thought, yeah, well, Michael's different. And he just sort of let it be. And his biggest regret would be not being more there and being more restrictive of what Michael was allowed to do. 70. What was Henry and William's relationship like before the murders? I think we've already established.
They were in a relationship.
Why did Charlie help the dead kids? What does she think of Cassidy? She helped the dead kids because, well, that's just who she is. She's a helpful person. Also because if you wake up and you're just dead, I mean, she already knew she was dead. She'd been dead for a long time. But if you wake up and you're dead and you see, like, 5 other dead children crying and bawling their eyes out and asking for their parents and, like, having a panic attack, what else are you going to do? You're just going to sit there and watch them? I mean, of course you're going to go try and help them, right? At least if you're someone like Charlie. She helped because she knew it was the right thing to do. And she didn't want the same thing happening to others, especially since they were so much younger than her. What did she think of Cassidy? She's not proud. She's not proud of Cassidy at the moment. She gets it, but it's also like, she tried to reach out to Cassidy and be like, hey, maybe you shouldn't. But then she realized that Cassidy was being influenced by someone who's just a bit stronger than her, really. 72. Is Michael the god in this world? He's... no.
He is a god via a proxy. He isn't the god, but he has, well, the god's like, you know, Anim Dude.
Yeah.
Anim Dude is Michael's creation, though.
Anim Dude...
anything Michael wants Anim Dude to do, Anim Dude will do.
Would Michael be human again if he could?
Well, I don't know. I don't think he would. Because again, the last time he was human, he was still really affected by, you know, the bullies. I think maybe deep down he would long to be a completely different person. If Michael had the chance to, like, stay a zombie or be a different person, he would be someone completely different.
Yeah.
He wouldn't go back to looking how he used to, though.
What does Evan think of Michael and William hating each other? He doesn't like it. He's not really aware of it, but he wishes the tension wasn't there. Can Michael eat? Unfortunately, yes, he can. He has some pretty upsetting eating habits later on. Not as in like a disorder or anything like that. No. He's just kind of disgusting when he eats. Because he doesn't exactly have taste buds, so he can eat anything, including things that...
Yeah, the Jolly Ranchers pickles, that's exactly what he eats.
He likes to...
He likes pickles and onion.
He
likes yucky stuff.
He can eat straight up cloves of garlic without a single thought.
If it's pungent and you can smell it from the other room, he likes it.
Yeah, he can eat like full-on raw eggs, probably, just crunch them up. He's a bit of a weirdo like that. Anyway... What are Cassidy and Zor planning? Ooh, well, I'm sure I've implied it enough. But Cassidy and Zor, they will come back. They're not just gone forever, because that would be boring if they were. They do come back eventually. They're planning to just make William suffer a lot more. And unfortunately, this also means that they have to make others suffer to get to William. So, stuff's gonna happen. It's all gonna come crashing down. Ooh, this one's nice. What does consequences mean? The meaning of the comic, I think I've explained before. The name of the comic. A lot of people were like, oh, this is just a redemption story for William. Oh, you're trying to make William look good. Stuff like that. No. If you read the title of the comic, and if you look up the definition of consequences, this is not a redemption story for William. In fact, it's not a redemption story for anyone, really. It's more of a justification story, if anything.
It's an explaining story.
It's an explaining story.
It's a story of what happened and how everything that did happen is affecting them now, and how William's suffering in torment in hell forever kind of isn't a great punishment for him. It's what he deserves. He deserves the physical pain. But how can he face real consequences if it's not, you know, if he's not facing them via the people he hurt?
Yeah.
Which is why, you know, it's called that, because he has to learn to speak to these people again.
And it's not just about William. Consequences refers to everybody's consequences. William isn't the only one who caused bad things to happen, unfortunately.
The consequences they're not always bad. It just means, you know, the thing that happens after you do something.
Yeah. Henry caused a lot of bad stuff to happen, you know, in FNAF. A lot of the characters had actions that either directly or indirectly impacted how the story went. This includes everyone. This includes, obviously, it includes Henry, it includes Charlie, it even includes Evan. Even Evan has actions that resulted in consequences. That's not to say Evan's evil, that's not to say any of them are evil, it's just to say everyone had a part in creating what was FNAF. And while, yeah, William could be at the top of the pyramid of bad things happening and making bad things happen, that doesn't mean he was the only one who did it. Everyone did it. And
does this mean William's gonna be nicer later?
Yes.
Yeah. He's gonna be less like he is at the moment. He's gonna be more like he used to be. He's gonna be annoying.
Annoying.
It's gonna be annoying.
Annoying, but
more tolerable. Less tolerable.
Less tolerable, but more lovable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
But there's no forgetting what he did. But yeah, that's what consequences means, and that's what the meaning, and that's what the purpose of it is. Oh my god, we're finally here. We can finally talk about this, and I'll let you take the stage for this one.
What's going on?
78. Who is Dave Miller?
Dave is, well, okay. Starting it off, I think fairly strong would be to say William in Consequences suffers dissociative identity disorder through all the trauma that he's been put through in the story through his life. Dave is the, I guess, I don't know what you'd call it. Dave is Dave. Dave isn't William. When William is Dave, Dave is not William, if you know what I mean. Dave exists to hold the, the pain and the knowledge that it's children he's killing, but he has to kill them for, science and stuff. So he exists to just cope. But over time, through his existence, he's, gained personality, he's gained, thoughts and beliefs and feelings. And there's a book that will be referenced every now and then that talks about Remnant and mind and soul and body and spirit. That is actually the thing at the start of the dub that's said by Candy Cadet.
The passage read out by Candy Cadet, it's the thing that it's studying was studied by Dave, but the passage itself wasn't written by Dave.
There's a book that Charlie gets a hold of, which is full of drafts written by Dave about, his studies and his beliefs and his spirituality. Dave is the killer. Dave is the child killer. William killed Charlie, but Dave killed the kids. This isn't to say, the whole people with the idea, it's like the whole split personality, yada yada. No, it's not that. He just kind of happens to be killing kids.
Yeah, this isn't to stigmatize any disorders or anything like that.
No. He just kind of does that. When Dave is a guy, when he's doing his thing, when Dave is daving, pre-consequences in the suit, it calls back to when in the Twisted Ones, he announces that he is Springtrap. I am Springtrap. I'm more than William. So he's also Springtrap. And what else is there that I can say about Dave?
Basically,
he and Charlie are gonna be getting into some stuff. They're gonna be doing stuff together.
Okay, yeah. William and Charlie, they bond over just, they get, they make amends. But the real interesting stuff happens when Dave comes out and Dave and Charlie start talking. That is when a lot of the, the lore stuff that we were talking about before happens. So, yeah, Dave appears, and Dave is not William, but sort of kind of is.
And, Dave, William, and Williams are the third alter. They all kind of tie into his very, altered, strange gender identity as well, which is why it was a little bit difficult to explain at the beginning.
I think
of the Q&A.
I think it's safe to say that's who the third one is.
I guess so. Spring Bonnie.
Spring Bonnie is the third.
William's gender non-conformity. It's his,
his love of performing, his love of
his
persona, yeah.
His persona too. But that's who Dave is, and Dave isn't going to be here for a while. Not until Charlie gets hold of this book, which will cause Dave to come back.
Yeah.
Because he always comes back. I guess you could say it's going to cause Dave to, I don't know, front again.
Yeah.
But he'll be there, and he'll be a fun time.
Yep.
And that's who Dave Miller is.
Whereas
I don't think William is going to bring up Dave or any of the other people there.
No, because William's unaware of it, because he never saw a medical professional for it.
Yes, William, that's also a bit important to note. William doesn't know he has this. It's completely undiagnosed.
Yeah, William never sought therapy or a counselor or anyone, not even a doctor. He has no idea this is a thing. He just sort of has big chunks of memory loss and he lives with it. Forward one. What are Cassidy's thoughts on Andrew? Cassidy, she cares about him a lot. She misses.
Joined from the crowd.
She misses him. Will Consequences get a sequel? Jesus in Christ.
No, it won't.
It won't. We're not
Sorry.
even at chapter 1, you guys.
Just putting it plainly in for the future. No, it won't. Sorry.
It might.
This is long enough.
It might.
It's
Okay,
already
okay, guys, listen. Assuming I'm not dead by the time Consequences finishes, there might be a sequel. But by the time that happens, I'll probably be f***ing 50.
It's gonna get adapted into a Netflix animation.
Just like a full-on animated series.
That would be pretty.
It'll take a while, but hey, you never know. You never know what could happen. That's a quote from the movie. Thank you, Mike Schmidt. Anyway, what does William think of Cassidy?
William is confused by her because, he said himself, why her? Why are they not Charlie? Why isn't Charlie the vengeful spirit and it's just this random girl? But even though he kind of hates her and he's a little bit annoyed by her at the moment, he does feel for her. They're both in this shit position where they kind of have to coexist to give each other a purpose in life. Because if they don't work together in a certain, in like a kind of manner, in a figure of speech, then they have nothing, and they aren't really anybody. So they're very important to each other. Cassidy is important to William, and I think vice versa, even though Cassidy is really scared of William.
William views Cassidy as a person despite everything that she's doing to him. Does Cassidy think there is anything William can do to redeem himself? Now this one's interesting because, it's the whole, do you think William could be better? The thing about this is that Cassidy thinks that his redemption is being tortured. The reason she's doing it is to try and fix something else. She's trying to fix something by torturing William. And she thinks that by torturing William, it will help finish like what he started. She thinks that this is the final step to him, redeeming himself or to be better. But it's difficult because it's not that easy and it's not what she was expecting. Obviously, when he beat 50-20, she sort of realized, she thought that would be the end, but sort of realized it didn't fix what she was hoping it would fix.
Good morning, UK members. Good morning.
Good morning, UK members.
Good night, Canadian.
When did Henry find out the puppet was possessed by Charlie?
I think I said this in real life. I think he always knew that Charlie was there.
Yeah.
He saw the puppet, and then he saw Charlie, and he just knew that there had been some supernatural intervention there.
Yeah.
And she'd left for the puppet.
Yeah, Henry always had a feeling.
it was when Henry brought this up to Michael, and Michael went to the FNAF 2 location, and he was like, yeah, I guess I kind of see Charlie. And then he took the puppet.
And then he stole the puppet.
Right.
Yeah. 85.
Just the vibe, yeah.
It's just the vibe, honestly. He's like, oh yeah, that's my girl. That's my girl in there.
Literally.
Are the Afton and Emily children biological? We already answered this. Charlie is adopted by Henry, and the Afton children are surrogated. When was Elizabeth's happiest day? You know, Elizabeth wasn't at the happiest day, so when was her happiest moment? And we talked about this in real life because we didn't know how to answer this one. Honestly, it might just be when she met Circus Baby. And yeah, I know that's a fucked up answer considering she died after she met Circus Baby, like basically immediately. But seeing Circus Baby was like such a highlight for her because she had dreamed of seeing it for a while. You know, William was working on something. She was like, holy that looks like me. That's so cool. It's sparkly. It's glittery. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen. So, yeah, it was the happiest, I guess not the happiest day of her life, maybe more like the happiest few moments of her life. Yeah, she liked Circus Baby. It's a shame that she got clawed to death. Oh, another thing I should mention about that, in Consequences, it wasn't, you know, because if you look at the blueprints for the fun times, they weren't meant to kill kids on impact. They were more or less meant to kidnap kids and take them away alive, I think, if you know, if my memory serves me correctly.
Yeah. They needed to be alive. They couldn't have been dead.
So it wasn't the clawing that killed Elizabeth. More gruesomely, it was she got kidnapped, and because she was kind of she wasn't crushed, but because it was such a tight-knit space and it was so sudden, she died of a heart attack 2 minutes after being kidnapped. So it was a cardiac arrest. It wasn't the actual initial clawing. There's no real mention of this in the comic, but this is just like more of a tidbit of information that's not really important. Elizabeth in the comic, everyone in the comic has their own scars based on how they died. Elizabeth doesn't have any scars because instead she is extremely pale, and has no blood circulation. She doesn't have a heartbeat. And technically none of them do because they're all dead. They do because, you know, it's their souls, not their bodies, but yeah, no, Elizabeth doesn't have a heartbeat. Which is, it's quite symbolic because Elizabeth has a lot of, like, you know, heart symbols on her dress and stuff, and she's always referred to, like, she's the child that's meant to resemble, like, joy and love. That's her sort of thing. So for her to have no heartbeat is, I think, some kind of really cruel irony. But anyway. 87, can Michael feel pain? Yeah.
He can feel discomfort, he can feel uncomfortable, but nothing that would hurt does.
Yeah.
Like if you stabbed him with a little pin, he'd feel it under his skin, but he wouldn't feel pain.
How often does Charlie have to intervene with Michael's tomfoolery? Every single day.
Every day.
Every day. 89, will William ever be forgiven? It depends who you ask.
I
Tolerate
think
him.
the big thing for Consequences too is kind of just a real world reminder. You don't have to forgive people, ever.
Yeah. Forgiveness is a choice that you make.
You're never entitled to forgiveness. You're entitled to give it, but you are never entitled to get it.
And again, like I said with Charlie, Charlie has a big thing with forgiveness because it's all about how, to her at least, forgiveness is less about letting go or forgetting what that person did, and more about letting yourself move on from what they did so that you can be happy. And so that you don't have to, you know, rot on the inside, as a play on words on Michael's part. You don't have to suffer and to, you know, rot in your own agony. You can move on from it.
Yeah.
A bit like Old Man Consequences, if you think about it. Charlie is just like her father in that regard. Anyway, oh my fucking god, we've done it. We've finished the DeviantArt questions. We have one segment left.
What? What do you mean we're not done?
Have you forgotten?
There's more?
There's a third segment. I said this at the start of it.
How much is there?
31 questions.
Oh my god.
Guys, it's okay. It's okay. It's alright. We've got this. We've got this.
Let's just look at the live stream. I'm drawing what I look like right now.
Oh, look what you've done.
I'm sleepy. I'm so sleepy. Look at me.
Don't you stay up until like 2 a.m. most nights and you're not even sleepy?
Yeah.
Question 1 of the YouTube questions. Thank you, Pro, for making that community post. What year is Consequences taking place? Already answered that. It's 2025. How is the weather in FNAF world? Oh, Michael's about to talk about that actually in a few pages.
It's sunny 80% of the time.
Yeah, it's
exactly 80%.
It depends where you are. If you're in Fazbear Hills, it's sunny 80%. Like it's picture perfect summer day, but there is a 20% chance of rain. Bio actually asked this one.
Oh, the grilled cheese.
He asked, does Mr. Consequences know how to make a grilled cheese? Bio is the voice actor for Henry, in the comic dub.
I don't know if he means you or Henry.
Yeah, because I'm Mr. Consequences, and Henry...
I think he means Henry. I do think he means Henry.
He means Henry. Well, to answer both questions, Henry can make a grilled cheese. He can make a lot of things, because he can cook. But Mr. Consequences, otherwise known as me, no, I cannot, because, I'm useless. I'm like a failed person in society.
I remember when you had to learn how to use the microwave.
It was a very embarrassing day for me. How is Michael doing?
Right now?
Yeah, just right now, honestly. Nice iPad, man.
He's doing good.
Does Elizabeth have any toys? Yes. She has quite a few, but she has 2 that are important to the comic. She has, I'm sure a few people have seen the promotional art, the color wheel for Consequences. You can see Elizabeth is carrying, like, you know, plush trap. You know how Evan has a Fredbear plush, Psychic Friend Fredbear? Well, we like to say that there was a Spring Bonnie one as well, and Elizabeth got it, and Elizabeth, yes, she's a girly girl, but she's also a bit of a, you know how you like...
Insane.
She's a bit insane, because she got it. She's a badass girly girl. Yeah, she got it from her father. She got it from William. So, you know how you sometimes have Barbies and you just draw all over them and do horrible things to them. She kind of did that to the Spring Bonnie plush, and now it's plush trap and it's all scary looking. But she's also got this, she had a Fun Time Foxy sort of plush, which is, she kind of ripped apart, as well. And, yeah, if you ever catch her playing with her toys, it's quite visceral plot lines. She's got some crazy storytelling abilities here. It's like when you make OCs and give them crazy trauma and angst, but it's it's Elizabeth doing it to her plushies. So there's that. What do the dead kids think of William? They don't care about him anymore. Well, okay, obviously it's a thing of like, oh yeah, you killed me, but they don't care about him in the sense that they're not scared of him anymore. He has no power over them. He's, you know, just some guy now, and they weren't friends with William, they were friends with Spring Bonnie. They view Spring Bonnie as the fun one, the one who, you know, can do fun tricks and performs and does all the fun stuff. They just see William as this kind of ugly dude that stabbed them all, you know, killed them all. So yeah, it's a thing of like, we don't like you. We'd rather see the fun side of you. What's it like for Charlie to hang out with Michael? It's an awful experience every single day. It's like, obviously it's like siblings, but it's if you had an older brother that's like 21 years old, but he didn't mentally mature past 16. So you've just got this tall like 6-foot brother who acts like he's still like a high schooler. It's a terrible thing. Sorry if my voice sounds really, really horrible compared to what it was at the start of this stream. I think I'm definitely getting a cold of some kind. How old is everyone and where are they all from? This question is answered by the fact files, but because not everyone has seen the fact files, because not everyone is in the Discord, I will go through the characters. William is 55 and he is British. Henry is also 55 and he is Australian. Michael is 21 and he is British. Charlie is 14 and she is Chinese. Elizabeth is 10. She's not British technically. She picked up the accent from William, but she was born in America. Evan is 5. Evan is 5 and he is American. He didn't pick up the accent. Cassidy is 10 as well. She is mixed race. She is Mexican and Native American. Derek is 23. He's 23. He is mixed race. What does Henry think of Cassidy? Henry thinks of Cassidy what Old Man Consequences thinks of Cassidy in FNAF, I guess. I guess the easiest answer is she feels bad for her, but he's also he's a bit fed up, to be honest. It's not a thing of being angry at her, it's more a thing of, you know, he's tired and he's got a bit less patience than, like, I don't know, someone else might. He's tired. I think everyone's tired.
He's getting old.
He's getting old.
He's old man consequences. He's not young man consequences.
It's in the name. What is Michael's skincare routine?
He doesn't wash for a long time, and then he lets himself soak in water for about a day. And that gets it all off. He gets it nice and drenched, and he dries off. He probably gets it, like, you know.
Honestly, Michael is the pinnacle of being depressed, so, you know.
It's not, his skin isn't great. Let's just say that. His skincare routine is getting stitched up by Henry every now and then.
Yep. It repairs, basically. He's more like an animatronic than a person. How long has it been since William ate cheese?
Oh. Okay, guys. So, it's been a while since William ate cheese.
Oh my god.
Hope that helps.
Okay.
I lied. There was cheese in his sandwich. Yep, it's true. It's all true.
There was cheese in his sandwich. I can't believe this. He's eating cheese.
He ate cheese. He had a cheese.
Question.
Cheese to meet you.
How does William always come back?
Sheer brute force and mental will.
Yeah, I was gonna say
spite.
He drinks like the blood of virgins. That's also how he comes back. So.
But he only kills children.
To be fair, yeah.
So he can stay young.
Oh yeah. Yeah, okay, there you go. He just drinks the blood
That's
of...
William's skin routine if you're interested in blood.
The blood of virgins, yeah. Does William know Polish? No. But he's fluent in French.
Yeah.
Does Henry think William has the capacity to change? Okay, yes. Henry does think William has the capacity to change. But, there's a massive but here. Henry will never never openly say this, especially not to William. The reason why is because Henry is aware of William's obsessive love for him. Henry is aware of how William feels. So Henry knows that anything he says will then influence William, and Henry knows that if he influences William to be better, then William's not really being better. If William does something just because Henry wanted it to happen, then that's not him being a better person, that's him wanting to be liked by someone he really is obsessed with. So Henry, I don't know if this is really a spoiler or not, but Henry is going to be quite distant, quite avoidant of William, because he knows anything he says or does could influence William's quote-unquote redemption. It's not really a redemption, but his change for the better.
Henry would only ever love William again if he saw William did the right thing in a, I don't know, situation where he had to, completely on his own accord, without any, interference from anybody else. If William did the true right thing on his own accord, Henry would understand, and Henry would accept that William's different. But that hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't happened, and Henry is kind of in denial that it ever will. But who knows? Who knows what might happen?
If Henry doesn't want William, I'll have him.
Does William feel safe in FNAF World currently? Not really.
Right now, not really, because he's got Michael to worry about, and Cassidy and Zor, who are planning underneath them. I guess he feels a little more threatened by Michael than Cassidy.
Scared of Charlie as well. It sounds funny saying that he's scared of Charlie, but there's a lot of reasons why he's scared of Charlie. That'll come in later.
It's Michael that scares William the most, because Michael's the only kind of one with the capacity, even when he's not in a bad place, to hurt William physically on his own accord. He would choose to do this, and he would stick with that decision if he were ever going to hurt William.
Michael is almost the same fucking size as William, so that's also...
He's a bit stronger. I know he's a skeleton, but he's a lot stronger than William. Everyone's stronger than William.
Oh yeah. Evan, to anyone who thinks that William is strong because he's a serial killer, no. William is...
He can't lift up the milk out of a fridge.
William is weak as fuck. That's why he was killing children. That is a joke. That is not why he was killing children. But if he were to ever have to kill an adult or just be in a fight with anyone who isn't, free foot, he would lose. He would lose. Obviously with a knife he has a big advantage, but, that's kind of with anyone who has a knife.
Well, he's British too, so he's obviously good with knife crime.
Oh yeah, knife crime as a British person, it's just a perfect combination there. But yeah, that's William does not feel safe.
Can you send that thing you drew?
What thing I drew?
Of William telling Henry to
No, absolutely not.
Where did you last send it so I can find it and get it?
What was William's first springlock failure like?
He did a backflip to test out the durability of the spring locks, and it ended up in a complete 100% springlock failure.
Yep.
And Henry had to take him to the hospital. The spring locks, again, are really, really misinterpreted. We talked about this in After the Cast, I think.
Yes.
On an off note. Spring lock failures aren't always the entire suit exploding. It's, one spring lock, multiple spring lock. That's why Phone Guy says multiple spring lock failures.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does a backflip, complete spring lock failure.
Yeah.
And he has to get hospitalized, and he's all good.
One thing to mention, this...
have this, by the way.
No, oh god.
What the hell?
Not. No, you will not. No. No. Anyway, like I was saying, the initial spring lock failure that happened, the first one that William went through, that happened, in the 80s, or actually late 70s probably. It happened a very long time ago, and it was a test suit. It wasn't the actual Spring Bonnie suit. It was obviously a test suit. And after it happened, Henry was very, very upset with William. Not angry at him, just kind of disappointed, because he explicitly told, William to just move around a bit and not do a fucking backflip.
Did he explicitly say, William, don't do a backflip?
Yeah, because he knows William, and he knows what William's like, and he was like, oh yeah, if I
If I could do a backflip, I'd be doing them all the time.
Exactly.
If you tell me if I could do a backflip and you told me don't do a backflip, I would do one.
Yep, and that's...
You've got to do reverse psychology with him. Tell him to do it, and then he won't want to do it anymore.
Oh yeah, that's another thing.
You've taken the fun away from it.
That's another thing that William and Michael have in common. Reverse psychology. They both, they're both very alike in that sort of sense. If you ask them not to do something, they will immediately go and do it. And if you ask them to do something, they will avoid it like the plague. So that's another thing they both have in common.
Yeah. It's Michael and him washing up. If Henry tells Michael he's going to go and wash up later, Michael will do it so Henry doesn't have to because he loves Henry. But if Henry tells Michael he has to go and wash up, he will do everything apart from that. Exactly,
yeah. One thing that's cute is that after the initial Springlock failure happened, Henry was the one who had to go drive. He had to drive William to the hospital, obviously. And Henry sat with him in hospital. He didn't just abandon him. He was just like, you know what, take this bleeding man. He's not my problem. No, he sat down next to him and talked about how much of a fucking dumbass he is. So that's nice. Does Cassidy's mask's nose squeak? Well, that's...
Yeah, I bet it does.
That's for her to know and for you to die trying to find out. Yeah, I guess the mask can squeak, but I think a certain someone wouldn't be very happy with you, doing that. Would Henry still tolerate William if they were in the real world, like alive?
I think so. I think he would. It'd be the same situation.
Not really. I think it would be a lot... Obviously, the whole FNAF world thing is very situational. Henry is very tolerant of William because he's aware that they're both dead. They're both deceased. They're both spirits. And with the knowledge that they're both dead comes the knowledge that they're gonna kind of be here for eternity, right? Ghosts can't die. Surely. So, he's kind of mentally prepared himself for the whole conversation of, is it worth it to be angry forever? And that conversation that he had with himself, while it led to a lot of horrible side thoughts of living for eternity or being conscious for eternity, another thing it came with is, you know what, it's not worth it. So I'm gonna hate this guy. But keep it to a minimum so that I can, be happy sometimes. So if they were still alive in the real world, I don't know if Henry would be quite as tolerant. He'd probably still work with him under situations where they both needed to escape something or, get out of something. But, he wouldn't like...
He'd be off, I assume. They'd be in the world, and then Henry would just, leave.
Henry would probably take any chance he could get to dip. To just leave. And
but then what do you do?
Yeah,
imagine that. You've been dead for ages and then you're just alive again. Like, what are you even going to do?
Go and die again. I guess.
Go and die again.
What is William's opinion on the children he killed?
He doesn't really have an opinion. They're just kids. He doesn't care about them.
Again...
Not in like a, rude thing. They're just kids.
I'm not sure if this is a spoiler since we've already been through the whole William, sort of not remembering things because of his dissociative identity disorder. But, William's opinion on the children is very wishy-washy because he doesn't know them. He doesn't recall killing any of them. He knows he did it. He knows what he did because obviously he'd go home, he'd have notes written by Dave where obviously it describes what he did and having killed them, but he obviously can't truly remember what he did, so he has the knowledge that he's a murderer, he's an awful person, everyone hates him, but he can't remember what he did, and that causes a lot of struggles for him in the comic later on, because obviously it's hard to be around people who hate you, and you know why they hate you, but you can't remember what you did. It's difficult.
Yeah.
How will William and Henry's relationship grow throughout the comic? It will be like a ride down memory lane for the both of them.
A long and arduous and just generally
excruciating,
interesting process into going from not tolerating him or barely tolerating him to, you know, he's a little funny guy.
It'll be,
you know,
yeah, it'll take a while.
Accepting his presence.
Accepting his presence. 24, everyone's favourite drinks. William.
He likes his coffee. William's a coffee drinker.
And Henry's a tea drinker, as I've mentioned before. I think, what does Michael like drinking?
Michael likes Fago. Grape flavour.
Grape flavoured, specifically. Charlie likes, I get the feeling she just likes milk for some reason.
Just milk. Aww.
Just milk, honestly. And I do too. Elizabeth, I think, what would she like? Milkshakes?
Maybe she likes milk too.
I think Evan likes orange juice.
Aww, baby.
He likes orange juice.
He's a little guy.
I know it's a weird one. He likes orange juice, but I think Evan also just likes water.
Aww.
He just drinks
He's
water.
A little guy.
He stays hydrated. Be like Evan. Oh yeah, Derek. I think Derek likes Sprite, honestly. Sprite cranberry.
He likes it because it fries his taste buds.
Oh yeah, it tastes like TV static. That's why he likes it.
He likes sparkling water too.
Yeah, probably. I think he likes flavoured water.
Aw, little guy.
Love Derek. Cassidy, I think, you know those, I know this is very specific, but it's also a bit lore relevant. You know those, kid cocktails?
Oh my gosh, yes.
She likes the kid cocktails.
She likes, I think Zora likes, you know those boxes, the plastic boxes that you've got that have the plastic top and you gotta poke the straw into?
Oh!
Like those see-through ones.
And isn't it like flavoured water inside? Hello? Azalea? You there? I think she died. Can you hear me? Oh, she was getting a picture of the stuff.
I was not talking because I was trying to find pictures of juice.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, she'd like those. You're correct. The next question is Zor scared of Cassidy? The answer is... okay, it's situational. She's not scared of Cassidy. She's scared of what's influencing her to act the way she is. She's scared that Cassidy isn't really Cassidy anymore. 26. Would William have started over again to fix things?
Maybe. It depends, like, what he's doing it for. If he's doing it so he can, you know, like, be with Henry and have Henry not ignore him, I think he would. But if it was to, like, you know, I don't know, get around the dead kid stuff, I don't think so. He'd need to have a good motive for it. I think he believes in fate, obviously, like he says in the graphic novels and the books, so I don't think he does. I don't think he ever would.
Yeah, part of...
Because he believes this was always bound to happen.
Yeah, part of William's pathetic nature, part of William's, just being a villain, honestly, is the fact that the biggest problem for his entire arc in the comic is the fact that he is so pathetic, he refuses to take accountability at all. He believes anything that he did wrong, it was out of his hands. He believes he did it, for good reasons. He believes that the bad things that happened ended up happening because of fate, and that anything he would have done would not have changed what happened. He believes as soon as Evan died, everything was out of whack, and there was nothing he could have done. It's sort of a coping thing. He's so, deep in his own, coping mechanisms that he hurt other people because of it, but he's still convinced that it was all in the name of good. And, he kind of just can't accept it. So if he could go back and fix things, I don't think he entirely would, because he feels like nothing would have changed anyway. I think he'd only go back so that he can experience, being on good terms with Henry again. That's what he'd go back for. So that he can experience, being loved again. Will there be angst in the comic? I think we've already sort of answered this with the dozens of questions we've gone through. Yes, there will be angst in the comic. A lot of it. I do want to preface, how the fuck you pronounce it. There won't be so much angst to the point it's not enjoyable anymore. I know a lot of stories do this where it's literally just angst constantly, but there will be a lot of parts where it's quite emotional, quite visceral, quite dark, actually, at some points. I mean, I'm sure we already made that very obvious with all of the questions asked about Michael and the boys and Michael's whole thing going on. So yes, there will be angst. What is Cassidy planning to do when she gets William back? That's a good one. To answer it truthfully, not even she knows. She doesn't really know what she's gonna do. There's the whole thing of oh yeah, I'm gonna keep you down here, I'm gonna make you suffer, I'm gonna make you constantly have to replay this game. But again, like I said, it's not really her doing. She's kind of indifferent to the whole torturing William thing. It's not her choice. She's just, perpetuating it. Can Evan build a gingerbread house?
Depends who's building it with, how it goes.
Yeah.
It depends on mentally stable the person who's building it with is.
Yeah, so for example, he could build a nice gingerbread house with probably with Charlie or with Elizabeth. Under no circumstances is he allowed to build a gingerbread house with Michael. With Michael just can't keep his thoughts to himself. he has a sense of humor that isn't okay for 5-year-olds. This is actually a reference to Azalea and our friend Edward. They were building gingerbread houses and the roof broke just a little bit, and their immediate go-to to fix this was to make it a horrible place. I'm not even gonna say what. Can you believe it? We're on the final question of the YouTube segment.
Oh, yeah.
Was Henry aware of Cassidy and William's deal? Now, I guess the first question for this would be, what even was their deal? Which is this is gonna it's gonna be explained what exactly their deal was later, so I won't really go into it, but I guess the simple answer would be yes. To some extent, Henry does know, what the deal was. It was, William has to beat everything, and then he can go free. But the reason why, when Henry fishes up William, in Old Consequences Lake, he he says something along the lines of, should I tell Cassidy? She's not gonna like this. Obviously, if Henry knows about the deal, why does he immediately assume that Cassidy's not gonna be happy? The answer is that, Cassidy was fine with this deal, and that was their deal going on, but Henry noticed a couple of changes when 50/20 started that just sort of let him know that Cassidy is stressed, she is tired, and she is very, very angry at the moment. So he sort of had that vibe that, oh yeah, this isn't gonna be, this isn't, you know, him beating this will result in some conflict, to say the very least. Yeah, and that's it for the YouTube segment.
Yay.
Do we want to quickly skim through the Q&A?
Alrighty then. Hello.
Jesus.
For the last time.
Are you in a cave?
Yeah.
I am in my bedroom, which I'm currently removing some of the bottom floorboards.
It's something
But y'all need to answer a question or two. So, y'all got them. And how did I get into voice acting? It originally started when I was inside of high school, to where people wanted to actually, didn't actually want to talk to me, so I normally just made up voices and just talked to myself more often than not, and practice accents and all that stuff. And it just became a job, I guess. And what made me want to voice act this comic in particular, I thought it was cool. That's about it.
Yay.
I just randomly stumbled upon it.
This might be the last time I have to throw pro at the wall.
Back to the web.
Back to the web. Goodbye. Okay. We're finally on our final segment, which is answering the stuff that happened in the submissions last minute. Okay, let's skim through these.
Speaking of Michael, does he have brains?
A few, not many. Hey Spencer, in theory, how long will the comic likely be? Oh boy. That's a good question. I haven't thought about it. I don't know how many chapters there's gonna be. I know the baseline.
It's gonna be 3. There's gonna be 1, 2, 3, prologue, epilogue.
Yeah, so we're in the prologue. There's probably gonna be 3 chapters, and then there's probably gonna be the epilogue. Please don't take my word for it, because we haven't properly thought through just how the structure for this is going to go. We've got scenes and bits and bobs here and there that we thought of, but we haven't really put them into a string or a timeline. I feel like some of the chapter parts are going to be strings of short comics, I feel, because a lot of it is just character interactions that happen at different times or different days, and going through each day all the time might be a bit tedious, so that's going to be a thing. I don't know how long it's going to be though. Probably very, very long.
Does Mike know about the Living Tombstone? Yeah.
He does know about the Living Tombstone. Oh, actually, that might be something worth mentioning. Mike made FNAF songs, and so did Derek. They both made FNAF songs.
Would Henry ever tell Charlie that he built the thing that trapped her? Yeah, she knows.
Yeah. Okay. A lot of people were asking, like, isn't Charlie mad at Henry for making Lefty, and isn't she mad that she was controlled shocked? I get where you guys are coming from, but also I think Charlie's mature enough to understand that it needed to happen so that they could all burn in the fire and be free. When it comes to the controlled shocks and if it hurt her, those controlled shocks were meant to subdue the puppet. I personally don't think she would have felt any of it, because again, if Michael can't feel things because all of his nerves have rotten out, so why would Charlie feel any of the pain either? She doesn't have nerves. She's a puppet. She's a sock puppet. She's made of fabric and stuffing. And I don't know, electricity doesn't really conduct very well through like fabric, as far as I'm aware.
What was a fun bit in the comic book, Drew?
I really enjoy. I'm enjoying these current pages a lot because obviously now I've switched up how I do the sketches. The sketches are done on Krita now, so obviously they're a lot better, and I'm having a lot of fun now because just when your art gets better, you just feel good about it. So I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying drawing Michael at the moment quite a lot because I've gotten better at drawing just how horrific he looks really in general. So Old Man Consequences was fun, which is a shame because I haven't drawn him in a very long time because he doesn't appear for a while, but someday it'll happen.
Did you ever believe the comic would be dubbed by like professional team?
Absolutely not. I guess
we talked about it.
you and me and Azalea, we would because we meet up every other day. We'd talk about it. We'd be like, man, it would be so cool, and we'd talk about our headcanons for what the different characters would sound like. But in terms of it actually happening,
that was never like it. We laughed about it, but I don't think we ever thought it would actually be a thing.
Yeah,
it was just a funny idea.
It was a nice idea, and then it happened, and we were like, holy fuck.
Do you have any problems with the FNAF story? Anything you dislike about FNAF?
I've been with FNAF for a very long time, and I guess I'm a little bit biased. I love FNAF and basically everything about it. But if I have one gripe, it's kind of where FNAF is at now. My main problem, it isn't that, I really like SB, which I know is probably a hot take and an unpopular opinion. I quite enjoy Security Breach, Ruin, Help Wands, all the new stuff. I enjoy it. I like it. Maybe it's not what FNAF used to be, but I like it. I think it's cool. My main gripe with it isn't anything that they're doing now. My main gripe is the fact that Scott had to hand over the story to other people, obviously to keep FNAF alive, and as a result, it's kind of now, lore-wise. Steel Wool is unfortunately trying to revive the old story and keep it somehow linked to the new one. I would have much preferred if after UCN they cut that story off, so it was FNAF done, and then they started like a new thing, and I know that's the direction they were going in, but for some reason they really want to hold on to the old story as well because they know that's what people really like and enjoy, and that's where FNAF got its fame from. So I can see why they're doing it, but the way it's being done is terrible, and I'm not a fan of it. That's my gripe.
I'm a bit of a FNAF purist.
Yeah.
I dislike the new story a little bit. It's cool, but I wish it was separate from the FNAF community completely. I wish the books, SB, Ruin, Help Wanted, AR, VR.
I guess
wish it was all like.
Yeah, my other gripe would obviously be the books. The books, I think I'd like a bit more clarification of what is and isn't canon. I'd also like, I guess my other gripe would be with the fandom, not the actual series. The fandom's treatment of Scott, really just FNAF. People theorizing.
Maybe this is a hot take. But did you finish Help Wanted 2? I
think so. I was.
I don't like it.
You don't like the ending for it?
I don't like it at all. But Help Wanted 2.
I don't know what to make of it. I think it's a bit fan servicey for.
It's so fan service. I just don't like it.
It's very fan service. I will admit. I've kind of distanced myself from the new FNAF stuff. I think young me wouldn't like it at all. I think I've just learnt to sort of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the inner child hates it. But me currently, I'm just sort of like, yeah, okay, that's happening. I kind of understand why it's happening.
Oh, what's your drawing tablet?
Oh, I use it's a Wacom tablet. It's the Intuos Pro Large, I believe.
Yeah,
Large free, yeah. It's a big tablet.
Do any of the spirits have powers? Is there a criteria you need to meet, or do they just show up out of the blue? They kind of do. A little bit. Kind of ish,
Yeah, their powers
Specifically.
their powers are centered around kind of how they feel and also what they've been through. So, for example, Evan can make others cry. And obviously this has a lot to do with him being the crying child. He spent a lot of his, afterlife and a lot of his last living moments crying. And, now it's sort of like he's pushing that onto everyone else because he's not crying anymore. He's happy now. He's a happy child. But the tears that he shed were just that powerful that he has that sort of aura now. That if he really needs to, he can make them feel what he felt. Those big emotions where, he could do nothing but cry. That's kind of what's happening. As for the other people, it's very dependent, very situational.
There's extra kids in the happiest day. Are they in the consequences continuity? And will we ever see them again? And why did you leave out Lamar? Well, Lamar ran away.
Lamar in the actual books doesn't reappear because when he found out about the FNAF, like the Freddy's situations going on, he ran away from Hurricane. He moved from Hurricane. He moved away. Didn't want to be a part of it. And we decided to make that canon in consequences because, we're keeping his personality of not wanting to fuck with any of that. Lamar got out of there while he still could, so that's why Lamar is not there.
But,
As for the other people, yes, they're in the continuity. They will appear again.
They are the DCI kids. They were killed in the 1987 location.
Yeah, the FNAF 2 location.
I get that Henry was depressed and stuff, but why didn't Henry and Michael immediately start tracking down animatronics after he explained himself? What stopped them from just grabbing the toy animatronics after they were scrapped? Wait till the FNAF 1 location closed. Wait until after Afton both been looked, set the building on fire and call it a day. And then, before you went to the fun times, just set 2 fires. It would have taken much of time. Why weren't they more efficient, I guess, is the question.
I guess, okay,
Well,
the reason why...
They were tired. Michael was dead, he couldn't really do much. And it's just not... It's efficient, but not thorough. Going quick doesn't mean going good, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Another reason...
As inappropriate as it can.
There's the whole thing of them being so depressed they can barely do anything. But there's also the whole idea that they didn't necessarily know how Remnant works. They only found out, so it was sort of after Henry and Michael sort of established themselves and after William started killing kids that they eventually went back to the old Afton house because William was missing, so no one was really occupying the house. They went back there to the Afton house. This will be mentioned later on. They went back to William's house and they looked through it, and that's when they found loose sort of notes and papers and little books just writing about how Remnant works. They didn't find the book that, the really big important one that Dave Miller wrote. Most of the passages were all strewn about anyway, and they kind of pieced it together like, oh, okay, so he's doing weird science things with immortality. And fire seems to do it. That was basically all they got out of it. They didn't really know how Remnant worked. They did start their own little experiments, but that's a whole nother story, and it includes Anim Dude. They didn't do it earlier because they didn't know how. It was only after that they figured it out, and they still didn't really know exactly how to do it, so it took them a while, but they got there eventually.
Was William ever really interested in bringing back his family with Remnant? Or did he just keep doing it for so long that he eventually just devolved from save my family to achieve mortality?
Ding ding ding!
By that time, William, or Dave, was sort of William's body's owner. He was Dave for a long time. So Dave wouldn't have considered giving Michael Remnant ever. Even if he could, he wouldn't have.
Yeah,
He didn't care about Michael.
William sort of dissipated a lot. William barely existed towards the end of all the killing sprees and all that. So it was Dave in charge, and Dave didn't give a shit about Michael, didn't really give a shit about Evan either, or Elizabeth. He was neglectful of the kids entirely, didn't really see them as his kids. All he cared about was immortality, yeah. It's like you said, it went from save my family to achieve immortality. But of course, it's two different goals for two different people. William wanted to save Evan. Dave didn't care. which is another reason why William has so much trouble and struggle with like his mentality. Because William doesn't like Dave. Which is difficult, obviously, considering Dave is his coping mechanism. You can't just get rid of Dave because that's the only reason William was able to do as much as he could. There's that sort of... He ended up having to fight himself at that point.
What are the shadow animatronics? Like Shadow Freddy, Bonnie, the puppet, BB twins, Five Cupcakes? Who are they? What do they want? And what purpose do they serve? I can't answer for a lot of that because a lot of that is literally just FNAF. But I think Shadow Freddy and Bonnie are shadows of, things that had existed before. They, because they take form in Spring Bonnie and Fudbear, I think they are bits of Remnant that existed from, not actual Remnant, but metaphorical Remnant. Shadow Bonnie, physically, however, is William in the pizzeria looking for Michael. Which is a whole spooky thing that happens.
Yeah, there's a bit... when Michael steals Charlie from the FNAF 2 location, steals the puppet, he encounters William for the first time in a while, because obviously William's been missing because he's been out killing kids, and Michael's been a zombie for a bit, trying to find him. Michael recognizes William. William does not recognize Michael, and the Shadow Bonnie...
He was going to kill Michael. He appears to Michael in the Spring Bonnie suit, but because it's so dark, it's only his eyes, an outline that Michael can, see, which
results...
makes him look like Shadow Bonnie.
Yeah, it results in Michael perceiving William as a shadow.
Yeah.
I don't know if our explanation made any sense, but I'm sure this will be illustrated at some point, so...
My final question from Prey, for both consequences and as, what is your proudest moment of the history of consequences of a comic?
My proudest, moments, I guess I'm kind of going through one of my peaks in being proud. This server has expanded a lot. This entire month of December, and, maybe even the start of November, has been just really big for consequences, really. I've been working my ass off with art and with pages and with updates and stuff like that. But because there's so much that I'm doing, I feel like it's instead of being drained and being upset that it's not going anywhere, I feel like there's actually something happening. It's becoming a thing. People like it. That's one of the things I'm proud of.
Yeah.
That I've created something that, or we've created something that people enjoy. Creating a community. I guess another proud moment, more specifically, was being able to surpass incidents or hate or any form of bullying that resulted from it. It's
everybody having the same mind frame of don't interfere with people that are like that because nothing good will come of it. If we keep to ourselves, hopefully they'll keep to themselves and they'll stay. If you stay respectful, you just have to stay like that.
One thing,
a lot of people,
one thing I'm proud of specifically, less in terms of the comic and more so in myself, would be the fact that, because I was tempted to, I'm not gonna lie to any of you, I was tempted to give up at one point. I think there were some times where I feared, hey, I should give up because it's too difficult. There's a lot, I'm only so young, and, it's difficult. When stuff happens online like that, it's easy to get into your head and really wonder if it's worth it, if it's even worth it to deal with that sort of thing.
There was about a solid hour where consequences, the existence of it was completely up in the air. Like, it was gonna go. Two of the main platforms that existed on had gone, and, you know, DeviantArt. The reason it stayed up is because Spencer couldn't figure out how to private the comic.
Not
It stayed
really.
up, and we were like, okay, we'll get through it. That'll be okay. And everyone's so nice that everyone that comments and interacts and is in this server and is just in the general, is kind of floating around in the I acknowledge consequences as a comic and I kind of like it community is so nice. And, you know, yeah.
I need to say, the only reason that it didn't go down was it would have gone down if not for the fact that there were a lot of people who wanted to see it stay up. And I guess I have no one else to thank other than everyone, you guys, just everyone. If it wasn't for DeviantArt just treating it so nicely, it would have been gone by now. Because I wouldn't have been able to deal with that. But, you know, having support really changed that. So that's sort of my proudest moment, is being able to have people around.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think kind of the same. It was just really good. Like, I'd never seen it. I had seen it in different kind of situations, but people gaining the same mind frame and understanding how to, you know, act when something big like that happens, when something goes down like that. It was cool. It was just nice seeing people immediately know how to behave and not doing anything, you know, crazy. I'm not sure when I'm be proud of it. I guess that was pretty proud of it. That might maybe my most proud, but I guess hitting 100 pages was pretty good too.
Oh yeah, hitting 100 pages.
That
was crazy.
A couple pages ago might have been it, because I felt like seeing William progress, seeing him progress physically and characteristically, seeing his story and how he's portrayed and how he's drawn change. And now it's kind of a constant. I don't know. I think it's really good and it's really awesome. And it's so him. I'm really happy that people understand the comic. People get it and they don't just see it at face value and they're like, okay, so they're gonna live together and they're gonna talk to each other. Like, it's got stuff to it, right?
Yeah.
And I really like that.
Of course, you've got your batch of people who see consequences and they're just like, oh, okay, so this is a thing where we're just gonna.
Bad, William good.
Cassidy bad, William good.
Can we expect any more appearances from anybody else from the book series, like Lamar, Eleanor, anybody from Tales?
There are a lot of references to the books, like I've already said, but the only character I can think of that is notable and will be in the comic is Clay Burt.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Our favourite police officer. I won't say much, but he's got something to do with William.
Ooh.
You already know what it is. Why are you oohing?
No, I know.
Oh, shoots him close. Close.
Anyway.
Originally, I was gonna use Gregory as a cameo during when the dead kids are meant to arrive, but then as consequences progressed, and I started seeing a lot of comments asking about security breach and what implications that has.
Now I want to do it.
Then I saw the people like theorizing, and I was like, oh, do you know what? I don't want to do this anymore.
I don't want to. No offense, I don't like Gregory. He's a piece of shit. Also, don't harm Clay. Clay is gonna be fine.
Oh, Clay's gonna be fine.
It's
Will.
Oh. He's a you know.
I think we mentioned earlier in this Q&A that William can't fight, especially if it's an adult.
He and Clay, they have a bit of rough and tumble. They rough house.
Oh man, I'm excited to draw that. Honestly.
since Michael essentially reprogrammed this version of FNAF World for his family and added new stuff, is it still going to operate in any way like the vanilla FNAF World? Combat, math?
Ooh,
Yeah.
it's nice that you asked that.
Ooh,
Ooh,
yeah.
yes.
Does that mean I need more VAs? I'm sure you can just get, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's gonna be the UI. There's gonna be bits and bobs. Charlie specifically, and
Yeah.
it's another character.
Charlie and
it's
William.
another character.
There's gonna be
Charlie and
a
William.
lot about the
Okay,
fact
fine.
that they're in a game. Oh yeah,
Well,
I guess
William?
here's a tidbit. Since you asked about FNAF World with UI and battles and all that, there will be a lot of that. A long time ago, when I made the original notes and the original timeline for Consequences, which by the way is outdated now, we also went through our headcanons of what the different characters' attacks would be, since you know in FNAF World everyone has attacks. Yeah.
They have canon lists. William's pretty OP, but he's a fucking idiot, so he doesn't know that he's OP. and
William's
he
a bit of a-
his OPness. I got a mute for that one.
That is it. Oh my goodness gracious.
Do you need help editing this?
Oh.
The final question.
I don't know, man. Maybe. I'm not uploading this raw. I need to cut some stuff out.
Hello.
Hey,
No more walls.
no more.
No more questions.
Sorry about that. There was a lot of questions on my end.
It's fine. DeviantArt was definitely the biggest headache.
I mean,
Honestly, I'm surprised that you actually liked most of the questions from my YouTube comments.
I liked them. They were silly.
every platform had a big handful of really fun ones.
Anyway, thank you all for coming. Happy birthday, Consequences. Good 2 years. Hopefully Hopefully there will be an event like this again sometime. Maybe not a Q&A, but maybe something else. Who knows?
We do a lot of VCing, so if you're ever online at the same time you're online and we're also in a voice call, you can just join.
Yeah, feel free to hop on VC whenever we're on there, if you want to hear our dumb voices again. I'm sure you've all got your fills of that, though.
They clearly never heard enough of me, obviously.
Obviously.
Hey.
Anyway. Good night, fellas.
It's the end.
See ya.
Yeah, for now. I'm tired.
It's time to die.
Go to sleep.
Good night, everyone.